Financial freedom is a goal that a lot of us share. Being able to feel secure, making sure that you're stress free, and being in control of your money is something that we always want financially. But getting there can be very overwhelming if you're looking to get that debt free journey. A lot of people don't know where to start, and it also seems overwhelming in the amount of debt and also the expenses that most people are putting out. But in today's video, we're going to be looking at a step by step guide of building out your roadmap and getting to financial freedom. So let's go ahead and get into this. Starting with our first one, always assessing your current financial situation. You need to know where you stand financially with everything. This is going to include your income, your savings, your debt, your monthly expenses. Everything that is going to be in your financial world has to be in there. And this is a time to take accountability. If you have too much debt, it's still going to be in there. You want to list everything out. You got to be upfront with it. You can't hide it. You can't exclude a couple things, which is what a lot of people do, especially when they feel bad or depressed because of their current financial situation. Now, also with this, it is the time where you can really evaluate where your money is going. And again, when people do this, I would really stress putting it down on pen and paper. If you're putting it into an app, it's very easy to get frustrated, to close the app, to go ahead and exit out of it. If you have it on paper, and again, really the first time that you see this, you can take accountability and come up with a plan. If you're working with a financial counselor like myself, you can come up with a debt strategy or debt repayment strategy. That way you can start eliminating systematically using a couple methods and making it essentially to a point where you can get it done. Second part to this is setting clear financial goals. Now, for a majority of people, when we have the discussion around financial goals, they don't have any. They might have kind of a pipe dream of what they want to do in 5 to 10 years. They want to retire someday. They want to go on vacation someday. They want to have financial freedom someday. Now, when it comes to these financial goals, we want them to be SMART goals. If you remember this from a lot of different trainings, if you remember this from a lot of places that you could have possibly worked, SMART is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. That is the 5 here. So when you want to get it, the clearer the goal and the more crystal clear that you can get that goal is going to make a big difference. Now, of course, the big part of this is one, it has to be very specific. So exactly what you want to do. If you want to pay down debt, okay, what does that look like? How much are we putting there and at what kind of time frame? Because if you say, oh, I want to pay off debt, okay, that's great. That is a very general overall blanket statement. The chances of you getting there go down dramatically when you are doing those blanket statements, because again, you're not making it specific and you're not making it measurable. So if you said, okay, I have debt, I want to pay it in 12 months, I want to make sure that it is gone. To do that, how are we going to measure it? We're going to take the $12,000 of debt we have. Hypothetically, we're going to pay $1,000 a month for 12 months, which of course is going to be measurable every single month. Am I paying that $1,000 that is going towards the debt? That way I can hit that specific target within the next 12 months that it is going to be paid off in its entirety. Is it attainable? This, of course, is really goes with the question of, do you have $1,000 a month to put towards that debt? Is it realistic? If you're an individual that is making $5,000 a month, however, looking at your expenses, they are over $5,000 a month, you're not going to magically make that extra $1,000 unless you're really going in and cutting a ton of expenses and literally, cutting down everything, or picking up a second job, a side gig, a side hustle to create extra income to get to that. And of course, making it relevant. What is the reason? What is your why behind why you want to be financially free, why you want to eliminate that debt? And then of course, time bound. You want it to be very specific. Again, paying off the debt in the next 12 months was the specific one that we are looking at. And of course, guys, the journey on YouTube continues. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, let me know in the comments, and let's continue with our next one, which of course, not going to pass a video without creating a budget. Budgeting, sales plan, sales strategy, spending plan, whatever you want to call it, you have to have a way to take accountability and a way to manage your money. Make a list of your monthly expenses, make a list of your income, prioritize them. What is going to align with the goals? Again, if you're looking to be completely debt-free, how are you going to make that happen? Is it cutting a lot of the spending? Are you going to cut down on, going out to eat? Are we talking about refinancing a mortgage, getting cheaper insurance, refinancing an auto loan? How are we going to free up some of your, essentially your cash flow, the money that you're getting from your income, to filter a lot more of it into the debt, really building that and paying it down. It will also keep you where you can adjust seeing it. Again, you can use an app, you can do it on paper, but regularly tracking your spending will know where every dollar is going. Now, there has been a direct correlation to people who build a budget that are successful when it comes to finances, because when you look at your money, you can start eliminating a lot of little things. We have subscription services, you have impulse purchases. There's a lot of things that you can really keep you on track with this budget and allowing you to stay on track to hit that goal of eliminating that debt and getting to the financial freedom. Now, this, of course, starts with building an emergency fund. This I cannot stress enough. And again, from a financial counseling perspective, the emergency fund is the most important thing that you can do, period. Now, I know Dave Ramsey baby steps, they start with a small or baby emergency fund of $1,000. Now, of course, this isn't a fully funded emergency fund, but this is a point where you can start building up a little bit of savings. That way, if an emergency happens, you can cover a smaller expense. For instance, if you're putting $1,000 into a high yield savings account, let's say your car breaks down, you need a new tire, you need a car repair. Hopefully, what you have saved is going to cover that expense. If not, it's going to go right back to borrowing. And that's exactly what I see is a lot of people are putting a lot of money onto credit cards, a lot of money onto debt. However, they're not saving anything for that emergency fund. And when something does happen, and it is inevitable that it is going to happen at a point, they go right back to borrowing the money and racking up the balances on those credit cards. And the cycle just repeats. It really starts the paycheck to paycheck. It really starts the debt financing pretty much for everything in your life because they have not built that emergency fund. It really breaks the cycle of relying on loans and credit cards when it comes to difficult situations and actually having money that you can use yourself. Now, of course, when it comes to building the emergency fund, the other side of that is looking at the high interest debt or the bad debt, as we call it. You know, there is really bad debt, really high interest debt, and then there is what they call good debt. But honestly, when it comes to debt, in my opinion, debt is debt. Of course, there's going to be some like credit cards that are running, 20+% interest, which is incredibly expensive. If you ever want to get to a point of being debt free, if you ever want to have financial freedom, you cannot, and I repeat this, you cannot have credit card debt. Even if you have a credit card, you pay it off monthly basis. When you have a credit card, you spend more. It has been proven that people that pay on a credit card, they don't have the same emotional connection when it comes to purchases. If you're paying with cash, if you're paying with a debit card, when you're paying with the credit card, it is almost fictitious spending that you're doing, and overspending will come from that credit card. And again, there's data, there's research, there's a lot of stuff to really support exactly what we're kind of covering here. Now, as you pay off each debt, paying the money or putting the money towards the next one, this, of course, is the Dave Ramsey and the snowball method that we talk about. Now, there is the snowball method. There is also the debt avalanche. Personally, psychologically, the debt snowball method is the way to go for a majority of people because you're going to prioritize the lowest balance that you have. All of your money is going to go straight to the lowest balance. As soon as that one is eliminated, systematically working down based on the balances. Now, of course, the opposite of that or the flip side of that is the debt avalanche, which this relies on the interest rate. So instead of doing balances from high to low, you are going to do interest rates from high to low, putting every dollar into that highest interest rate. This is going to give you the most bang for your buck. However, a majority of people find it a lot more beneficial to do the debt snowball method because of the psychological factor of seeing the elimination of debt, which of course can be a game changer for a lot of different people. And then, of course, the big part to building wealth that I really stress on this channel is investing. When it comes to eliminating that high interest debt, you got the emergency fund build. Now is the time to invest. This, of course, is the only way for a majority of people when you look at investing in ETFs. They have broad market exposure. You are not tied to a very specific company. It is across, and you're really mitigating your risk across the different sectors of the market. Even when you look at, VOO, which is the Vanguard S&P 500, when you look at the VUG, which is the Vanguard Growth Fund, there are a ton of ETFs that have really fractional fees when it comes to holding that and buying it. Now, of course, for all of my investing, including my IRAs, I do use M1 Finance. There's a link right down below if you wanted to open an account with M1, but diversifying your portfolio over time will reduce the risk and also aim for higher returns. When we start looking at those ETF funds like the VOO, the average has been about 13 to 15%, depending exactly the time frame that you're looking for. But I believe in its entirety, since they have been running the VOO, it is about an 11% return, which is huge. If you're getting to the point where you have that emergency fund built, you have your debt paid off, now you have the ability and you have the money. You have the cash flow that is not going to credit card debt. You have the cash flow that is not going into that emergency fund to actually have the ability to invest and invest on a very high level, meaning you're going to start stockpiling those investments and you're going to start seeing the compounding interest that you can get from there. The compounding effect is massive. When you start going out 20 years, you can literally double what you're investing about every 7 years, depending on what it is into, which again can make a big difference. And looking at the investing is, of course, the retirement savings. Now, a lot of people ask, when should I start saving for retirement? If that is a question that you're asking, it should have been yesterday. That is right. You're actually maximizing your retirement savings. And the earlier that you can do this, the better you're going to be off. Now, overall, my opinion and what I really focus on is the Roth accounts. When you're looking at a Roth 401k, when you're looking at the Roth IRAs, even though they don't offer the tax advantage, when you start getting into long-term growth and when you start getting into the compounding aspect you're going to have, it is going to be tenfold better than taking the upfront tax break, which of course is going to yield you higher returns. And there is going to be a point where once that money is growing in those Roth accounts, you don't have to pay taxes on it, which is the big thing. You're really passing on the taxes. If you're taking the tax break now, you're passing on that tax essentially for later. You retired, that is going to end up paying on the money that you put in there, but also the compounding that you grew for, let's say, the next 20, 30, 40 years. You're going to have to pay taxes on all of the money that is in there. And then the final one that we have here is continuously educating yourself. This, of course, reading books, attending workshops, online forums. This can be chat groups. This can be YouTube, getting a financial education. There are so many different ways that you can make better decisions in your financial future, and a majority of it is free. When you look at public libraries, when you look at personal finance, when you look at investing advice, when you look at a lot of publications, if you have the internet, if you have a smartphone, you have access to them, and a lot of them are entirely free. Regardless of who you are, you can get it for free. So overall, guys, when it comes to financial freedom, it is really up to you on exactly how much you want to embrace this, what you want to do to move towards financial freedom. But for me personally, we are almost completely debt-free, meaning the financial freedom and the debt-free journey is going to be a reality within the next couple years, and that it is poised and planned for retirement because it's going to give us the point to invest and invest on a whole nother level. If you follow the channel, our investment portfolio is just about 100,000, or excuse me, just about 100,000, 100K that we have in there to really see some of the compounding interest. But again, that is going to do it for the financial freedom, and I'll catch you in the next video.